Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Angel and Eric.
Molly.
Hi. Same intro.
Today we are back talking about Sheila Carter's first stint on The Young and the Restless. Today we are discussing June 1991. So I will roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So we picked up with Sheila anxiously awaiting a decision. Well, actually, she's worried because Scott ran out to go talk to Paul. The actor must be growing his mullet out again because he cut it and now it's like long again. And I'm like, the mullet is mulleting.
It really is. It's giving me like last season of Dynasty Joan Collins mullet.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't have the mullet last time.
Yeah, he definitely got a haircut, but it grew out again.
Yeah.
Maybe he's in between haircuts. I don't know.
Maybe he needed it for a role. Grow your mullet.
So last we saw, he had gone to LA to see Lauren, and she told him that he was not the father of her baby, and he assumed it was Paul, and she did not deny that.
Yep.
So, and last we saw Sheila, she was freaking out because she thinks now that she has Paul's baby. So he went to go see Paul to basically accuse him. And Lauren had tried to call last time, but Paul wasn't there to warn him. And now, so Scott got to him before Lauren did.
Yep.
And
he tried to give him a heads up, but Paul went with it, of course, because he's in love with her.
Yeah.
Is he? I don't know. I feel like she loves him more than he
just
loves
like
her.
that Facebook status.
They just seem in love every time I see them.
I mean, I don't doubt that he cares about her, but I don't know if I would go as far as to say love.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like he cares about her in like a I will always be there for you kind of way.
Well, he's always there for her. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
There. He's like
Always
Brady
there.
used to be for Nicole back in the day. He's just always there for her.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, he just like, throws a tantrum, accuses Paul. Paul goes along with it. And then Lauren calls and she's just like, I have to warn you. And he's like, yeah, Scott already
happened.
He left. He just left. And then she's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I keep putting you in these situations. I'm like, shut up.
No. I like that he said that you're a hair too late.
So he basically is like, it's basically all out in the open now. He knows she had a baby. He thinks it's mine. Just come back home. So
she comes back.
She comes back. Meanwhile, Sheila is waiting to hear from the lawyer that the judge gave the okay for her and Scott to get married, to like waive the whole 6-month thing. And she gets good news. Now the judge just needs to sign off on it. They approved it, but now they also have to sign off on it. So then Scott comes home and she's very concerned about what happened, what was said, because she knows she doesn't need anything to unravel her plan before they get married.
No.
And she says that it was approved, but they're waiting for the signature. And he's like, I got the call. They got the signature. And she's kind of like, oh, why didn't you tell me? Like, do you not want to marry me? Why don't you love me?
Right.
But they agree that they could get married that day. They just gotta like get marriage certificate. And I'm like, were they still doing blood tests back then? Because they're just like, yeah, it'll take 2 minutes to get the marriage certificate. We just gotta find a place to get married, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no blood test? All right.
Why do they have blood tests?
Maybe because they work at a hospital. They don't need a blood test.
No, I mean, like, why would I've never been married, so talk to me like I'm dumb. Why would you need why would you need a blood test to get married?
I don't know. That was always the thing.
I used to
I
know, and I can't remember. But
I
I
don't think
didn't
they
know
do
at
it
one point.
anymore. If I know,
No,
I gotta ask my friend. She just got married last year, but I don't think they do it anymore.
yeah.
no, they don't.
um, I don't
Oh,
know.
wait a minute.
I
I
think
think
it's
I
to
know
show
why.
that. I think it's to show that you're not related.
Yes, thank you. I was about to say that. I was like, wait, I think it's to show that they're not related. Yep.
Yeah,
Before I knew that, if that's true, I thought it was
I
so
think it
like
is.
for diseases to make sure like you're not sick or I don't know,
Hmm.
but I guess not. I think it's for
They don't have the STDs or anything.
Right.
yeah. Which I was like, oh, that's so responsible, but I don't think that's the reason. I think it's just to show that you're not related.
So it's not related. It's that way because there's a whole cousin rule in Pennsylvania.
I mean, that should be a rule anywhere, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
that should just be like an unspoken rule.
Like, look,
Right.
you're not related, right? Your ancestry is good. Good. Okay, awesome. You just coincidentally have the same last name.
Yeah.
um, why are we talking about this? Oh,
Oh, because of
because of the wedding.
the wedding. Yeah.
Wedding.
So Sheila like basically has this whole it's not a speech, but she's just like, I know that you don't care about me the way that I care about you, but you'll basically like you'll learn to. Like in time you'll fall in love with me. And I'm like, who wants to get married like that? Like, I know you don't love me, but you will. Like,
Mhm.
and I know that's basically the concept of an arranged marriage. Like they grow to love each other, but like I don't know. It
Or they
just
just hate each other for 18 years and get married as soon as the kid graduates and leaves the house. Like
right.
Yeah, right.
it still happens. I know people who are counting down the days until their kids turn 18, or at least the first one turns 18.
Oh, jeez.
What is the phrase Greg always says? It's cheaper to keep her
Yeah.
because child support's probably more expensive than just staying married.
Hmm.
Yeah. Unless you get the good old prenup.
Right. So this is where I'm just like, if this is all just to give the baby the last name, you don't need to be married. You could just change the baby's last
Change the
name.
name, yeah.
Yeah, it's silly.
It's very old fashioned.
Yeah.
But so Lauren comes home and she has a whole talk with Paul, and he basically convinces her that she needs to tell Scott the truth. And it takes a minute, but he finally convinces her. And she calls the hospital, but he's not there right now. And she's told that he'll be there in an hour. He then calls after that and says that he needs to take the day off and needs coverage because he has something personal going on. They decide, Sheila and him decide they're going to get married in the chapel in the hospital.
Yeah.
Um,
Why not?
so he's there and the nurse sees him and she's like, wait, I thought you had coverage. He's like, yeah, no, I'm just here for something else. And then Lauren shows up and they're like, oh, he's not here today. And she's like, what do you mean? I called and they said he was going to be here in an hour. And they're like, yeah, no, he called right after and had to get coverage. But I did see him. Did they tell him that they saw him at the chapel, or is she just
Yes.
wandering around and happens upon the chapel?
I think they did mention that he's at the chapel.
Okay.
Yeah, they
I think
mentioned
the nurses did, yeah.
Okay.
Because those nosy nurses,
Right.
They know everything.
they know
They
everything.
do. They do. So Sheila's there by herself, and I think she's starting to panic that he might not show. Well, she's with the baby. She's not completely by herself, but I think she's like, are we really getting married? Like, please let this happen. And he shows up and he's like, I realized that we had one thing missing. And she's like, oh my God, what? And he's like, a witness. And it's the security guard. And I think it's the security guard that saw her the night that she switched the babies. So she's kind of like side-eyeing him, like, hi, thanks.
Yeah.
And then when he was like, I'll hold the baby, I feel like she hesitated at first. But they end up getting married. And of course, Lauren is at the door and is like seconds too late. When it's like, you may kiss the bride or whatever. Or they say I do. And Sheila sees her, but Scott doesn't. And they just kind of have this moment where Sheila's got like a gotcha moment.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Lauren goes running back to Paul, and he's like, "Oh, how'd it go?" And she's clearly down in the dumps because she was too late. And she's back to the whole, I can't tell him. He married another woman who he has a baby with.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Scott goes to tell her that they got married later on.
Yeah, I feel like much later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she doesn't tell him that she knows. So something was missing. I guess we were missing this episode. She says that she called, I guess, to talk to Scott, and maybe Sheila picked up, and they must have had back and forth where Sheila was really nasty to her, and I'm really mad that we didn't see that because I love
I know.
But the phone call is mentioned a few times. I guess
we missed some good key moments.
I guess maybe Sheila taunts her that they got married because she even says to Paul, you know, I met with Scott and he told me they got married, and she mentions the phone call, and she's like, I don't know why Sheila wouldn't have told him that I knew already or whatever. But whatever. So Scott thinks that maybe their kids could be friends and like hang out, and I'm just like, that is never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Lauren might do it to be a dick, just to flaunt the baby. Well, she doesn't know it's Scott's, but just to like torture Sheila that she's around Scott.
Right.
But when he first mentioned it, I was like, this is how she's gonna see the birthmark again. This is how.
Yeah, I guess.
I just really need to know how this birthmark is gonna come into play.
Yeah, because it's not even mentioned in these ones. So
It was.
okay,
it was.
No, it was later.
Molly mentioned it. And I'm like, come on, do something.
I didn't even remember what I said.
So Lauren says to Paul, it's almost as if Scott was leaving the door open for them to rekindle. Like if him and Sheila had not gotten married, or if like it doesn't work out with Sheila, like he's basically like, I'm here, you know, we could do this again.
Yeah.
Which intrigues her. I think she likes that, you know, I got it like that moment, like, fuck you, Sheila.
Yeah.
But something that kind of like confused me. Lauren says something to Paul about Lynn being upset that it didn't work out with her and Scott, I think. And I'm like, oh, is it public knowledge that Lynn likes Paul?
I think so.
Like, has she tried to date him before?
She's I think she came on to him at one point. She's always there for him, like I guess how Paul is for Lauren.
But Paul, Lauren mentions it, and Paul just kind of plays it off like, yeah, it's a thing, but who cares? Like, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, look, Lynn's into everybody. She's even into me. But...
I told you, she's been crushing on Paul since the early 90s. And when I started watching the 99, she was still crushing on Paul. So, yeah, I don't know what her deal is.
That's a long time for
right?
love.
Yeah.
It really is. Really is.
She could have had a whole damn relationship. Instead, she's just like staring at Paul.
Yeah.
Now, if it was Brad, I could say.
Yeah.
Then, girl, same. Like, I probably would do the same thing. But, so yeah, so that moment happened, and that kind of confused me because I'm like, oh, everybody just knows Lynn likes Paul, and we're not. It's not a thing. We just brushed it under the rug.
Weird. It's weird.
So Molly Carter comes to town, and she's a little cold with Sheila. And Sheila's like, oh, you could hold the baby if you want. And Molly's like, I don't want to hold the baby. She's like, if I want to hold the baby, I would pick the baby up.
And Sheila's mad at her too. She's like, why are you here? Why are you
here? Like, what's up with you?
And she basically, I guess for the audience that missed everything that happened, recaps everything that happened.
Yeah.
The night of the birth. All the details about Scott not wanting her to have a midwife.
Yeah.
And the phone call that Sheila made to her saying that if Scott calls, tell him that I'm giving birth, but that it's snowing and he can't come here. And she's like, now that I've met Scott, she's like, I know him a little bit better, and he would have moved heaven and earth to be there for the birth.
Yep.
But yes, she knows all the details, but Molly is smart. She put everything together
Yeah.
to the
Right.
T, down to somehow you switch these babies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how she made that leap, but she did it. Maybe because,
Probably in episodes that we might have missed. She might have like figured it out. I don't know if they showed it.
well, she mentions, she's like, when I mentioned the birthmark, she's like, you got weird.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like she's like, everything that you've said and like made me do, she's like, it just, you switch the babies. Like, this is the conclusion that I've come to.
So I know why. Because remember, she does mention that she did it before. She was obsessed with somebody before.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
And
I
you know
guess
what I thought?
by
Even though I know it's not
that.
canon, I thought it was what's his name? Ted King's character on Bold. I'm like, could this be
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's vague enough that we could kind of like retcon it in our head that it could be him.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Just
Because Finn would be old enough though.
um
He would be old enough.
he'd be 30-ish, 30 something.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's how old like Steffi and them are. Like in their 30s.
Oh, that's right. They're like our
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like our age.
yeah, so that's the thought I had. I was like, I'm gonna try and make it make sense, even though it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't, but sadly, they don't acknowledge history. Like,
Because then we have to talk about the fact that she was pregnant before, and that not that this baby is her first child.
Right.
Or the one she lost. And they never mentioned that, so it doesn't.
yeah.
But we try.
We try.
So yeah, Molly, this is where I feel like she hates her daughter.
Yeah.
She looks like she doesn't hate her. Well, I don't know. I feel like she's very
Complicated.
blunt with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's basically like, you go to jail for this. And
Mm-hmm.
Sheila's like, nah, if you don't say anything, shut the fuck up.
Gonna have to kill you, mother.
But I see, so you're not Greg, Eric. You had texted me that you were kind of bored, and I could see it kind of dragged a little bit with the
Mhm.
circle conversations about should I
Yeah,
tell
and the
Scott or should I not
recap.
tell Scott. But I felt like this was exciting, just the confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Monty's back.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah.
Am I
Anything to
missing
keep them
anything?
quiet. No, that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
And since you said it was June of '91, I'm like, okay, that's why it's boring. Sometimes in the summer it gets a little boring at times in some
So,
storylines, while other ones rev up. So
Yeah, and they might have been focusing on maybe like Cricket, like the younger, and Nina, maybe like the younger crowd for this
oh
one.
wait,
yeah,
when Lauren
it could have
came
been.
back, they mentioned that Olivia and Nate got married.
Yes, I did see that while I was editing. They did get
Yeah.
mm-hmm. There's actually a lot of that. I've noticed in my editing a lot of like Olivia and Drew and now and not Malcolm,
Neil.
Neil. And I'm like, maybe when we're done with Sheila, we should go back and watch those characters.
Oh yeah,
I'm cool with
like
that.
this would have been after Generations got canceled and went off the air, so
Mm-hmm.
that would track
Yeah.
that Neil would come in like a few months after that happened, after it ended.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of I've noticed a lot of Nina and Scott Kimball. I actually this
Oh,
go
David
around
Kimball.
or David Kimball. I actually this go around saw the whole like I saw he had killer carved on his thing.
Killer!
I was like, oh my god, it was like the
It
trash.
made me look like David Hasselhoff. Nope, killer.
And
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
never seen. I don't think I've ever seen any. I did watch when Victor got shot, the primetime episode, and I watched like a lot of edits of that. That's on YouTube, but
I didn't know that they
I
had
didn't see
multiple
before that.
primetime episodes. I thought the only primetime episode they had was
Yeah,
when they said that Brad was naked, but it was just like side cheek.
side cheek. Yeah,
That's not cheap.
It was like him and
Listen.
what's his name? Jack. They were like in the locker room, I think at the gym and in the shower.
yeah, yeah.
It was just like side cheek. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
did
that's
see
what
that.
everybody went crazy over.
No. If you want to see asses, you want to check out Guiding Light 2000. What was that 2003, 2004? Yeah, there were some asses on there.
In the daytime, it wasn't a prime
In the
time.
daytime, yes.
Damn. How did they get away with that?
John Conboy, that's the reason.
Wait, which character was it?
I think it might have been Tony.
Jordi Villasuso?
I think it was Jordi Villasuso's Tony. I think it was. If not, it was the other one. But
I'm having deja vu. I feel like we talked about this.
We did. Every time he brings up, I gotta bring up the fact that there was actually ass on daytime. So.
Was there any moment that I missed that you guys wanted to mention? No?
No, that was it. But I feel like Molly is I'm getting nervous for her. I feel like it's getting like Lifetime movie type shit. Like once you find out you're gonna die type situation.
Oh, definitely.
But I do know like what happens with the cabin there, so she's still alive then. So.
Yeah.
But maybe she gets shut up somehow for a little bit, like or sent away or locked away.
Sheila once again had flashbacks of the whole night at the hospital where she switched the babies. I didn't realize the first go around how big that jacket made her look when she had the baby under it. And I also again thought, I'm like, there's no way that baby would not have cried at some point and she would have got caught. Like there's just no way.
It's a trapped, enclosed area for a baby. I'm sure it would have cried. Like
right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Babies cry when they have like a gas pain. Like there's just like, and they're always farting.
Yeah, look, I cry when I have a gas pain.
Unless it felt like it was still in the womb, being like embedded in.
Or she gave it.
I don't know.
She put like Benadryl on its lips or something.
Yeah. Baby
tranquilizer. I wouldn't put anything past her.
No. Yeah.
But yes, okay. So we just finished June. So now we have July, and then isn't August a sweeps month also technically?
I don't think so.
No.
I think November. I'm sorry. I think November is.
It's February, May, November.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I always thought August was too.
No, I mean that's like the fall storylines come out, kind of in the mag.
Fall previews.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we get a little bit more movement, and I need to know the development of this birthmark.
It's coming, I'm sure.
Because something is going to trigger her to have to do something about it. And I don't want to know what it is.
But then when she does do something about it, why wouldn't Molly do anything? You know, like that's why I think Molly is going to get something's going to happen to her.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
but also everybody has seen this birthmark. Well, Lauren saw it on her original baby, but they told her it probably faded. Molly's seen it, obviously. Scott mentioned it when he was changing the diaper. So like people know. So if you're getting rid of this birthmark, why?
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens to lead to this for sure.
No. I was gonna say unless I don't know. I was gonna say unless she removes the birthmark and switches the babies again. I don't know.
I don't know.
But no, I think something happens to Lauren's baby, so
oh, I did have that thought too. I was like, I wonder what happened to this baby if it dies or something. Which made me think
that's the baby that he should have been brought back as Dylan McAvoy for Paul's child.
When Paul said, "How's Dylan?" on the phone, I was like, oh, I forgot the baby's name was
Dylan. Yeah.
But anything else before we wrap this up?
No.
All right. Well, if you're watching this, you may have noticed that we have our Venmo listed at the bottom of the screen. So if you feel inclined to donate to the podcast, anything would be helpful. Anything from $1 to $100 if you have it. That would really help out with our subscriptions and everything behind the scenes. And as always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.